All right, everybody, we've hit the weekend, and technically, as we look at each and every game, all 9 games on a Saturday slate, guess what? I think it's going to happen. Now, we have to wait in order to get to this game because it's much later on this slate, but I think you're going to get it. Welcome into Shander's edition of the Likes, Leans, Locks, what have you. Lindquist has you during the week. I get you during the weekend, which is great because crazy, wild, absurd shit always happens on the weekend. Sides, totals, that's what we have. Player props, not out quite yet. But if you have a lean on something, anything in a game, you can let me know in that chat below. You can also hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. It does this video a long way. So even if you don't like me, and if you don't like me, go check out the Gatorade video that we have on the Odd Shopper channel because that will definitely make your day if you're an anti-Shander guy. But it does help, Raza, Lindquist, Aaron, a lot of other guys here on this channel. So just thumbs up and let us begin with this 9-game slate. We start in Brooklyn. Philadelphia 76ers come off a tough one, an interesting one, to say the least, right, against the New York Knicks. We saw that on Friday night. Second leg of the back-to-back here for Philadelphia, and I honestly don't expect Joel Embiid to play in this one. The reason is because he's been battling through this foot injury, and clearly he's playing hurt, and that's fine. He dominates no matter what. I mean, the guy could have one leg out there. That's fine, no issue. But I think at some point, you have to load manage this guy. And he was close. I think he was legit close to sitting tonight, but it's home. It's against the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, homecoming, all this other bullshit. I think you see in Joel Embiid sitting against the Brooklyn Nets. That's enough for me to side with Brooklyn. That's enough with me to open up and take what most likely will be plus, right, getting points at home against the Sixers team that ahead of time with Embiid questionable, we're getting ahead of most likely Joel Embiid out. So first game is just the Nets on the spread. We're leaning points, getting the points with Brooklyn at home, mainly because we're fading the idea of, I think this guy has a better chance of playing on Saturday than Joel Embiid. We'll see if I'm right. We'll see if I'm wrong. Oh, by the way, I haven't showered in like a week. If you're still seeing me wear this Eagles sweatshirt, it's because the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. So I'll shower on Monday. That's fine. Meaning you'll probably see this again for Sunday's slate. First play is the Nets on the spread. We appreciate you rolling with us. Now, I have to tell you what's going on at DraftKings because you don't have much more time here to jump on this, especially with the Super Bowl right around the corner. So what I need from you is you have to be 21 or older. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Live in a state where you can legally place a wager. That's fine. That's easy. That's the easy stuff. Here's what you have to do. It's going to take you 90 seconds. Just click the link below. Sign up. Okay? That's all. 90 seconds. Deposit $5 at only $5. Immediately. Do not pass go or whatever the hell the phrase is from Monopoly. Don't waste any time. Just immediately place that $5 on the Philadelphia Eagles to win the Super Bowl. Don't wait. As soon as you place that wager, $200 comes right back into your account. I see it. We get the numbers. We get the analytics. You're listening to me, but you're not fully listening to me. You're like, oh, yeah, okay, let me sign up. Let me deposit the $5. But you just have $5 sitting in there. You're not placing a wager. I don't know if you're waiting to play. Don't wait. It's instant. It's right away. You're going to get $200 right back. And then you can just use that. You can use that in the NBA. You can use that in the Super Bowl. You can use that wherever you want. That's the whole point in all of this. All right? We move on. The Orlando Magic. Home game for Orlando hosting the Charlotte Hornets. We'll get to them in a second. Home game for the Orlando Magic. Hosting the Miami Heat here. I think you're going to see more of an underplay, but let's talk it out. Orlando comes off a pretty big one at home, mind you, against Denver. Still, this is a team that, despite being bad, despite being 10 games under 500, they're one of the better defensive teams, at least that's not in playoff mode right now. And that's crazy. Toronto is still, I think, benefiting from what we saw early in the season. Orlando is not awful defensively. They just don't score much. We all know about Miami, right? Like Miami is going to hug you just like a boxer and make sure that you don't do shit while they struggle to score, but still, they get you $110, maybe something like that. They're going to keep you to about $107. That's if you're able to score. Orlando is struggling in that area. Both teams are fine defensively, but Orlando just not great offensively, and Miami's just not going to blow the doors off offensively either. I don't know if there's a number, a total that's going to be low enough for me to go under, but I imagine that you're going to get a pretty good opportunity here to take a favorable total, and we want to lean under that. No lock quite yet, but based on the Magic and the Miami Heat, where these two teams are, especially struggling more so on offense, counting on them defensively, let's lean under with the Orlando Magic. All right, next game. This is the Wizards game. The Wizards hosting the Pacers. Now, the Pacers, this was a tough one. Pacers get run out of the building. 107-81 with 10 minutes. I think that might have been the start of the fourth quarter here. Actually, I think the Pacers got hammered even harder after the start of the fourth. This was a bad loss at home to a Suns team that's not that good. They're not that good yet. Not until the big man gets there. The guy gets there. They've still lost some bodies that they have not replaced fully yet. You don't lose a game like that, I think, and just bounce back. Something is going to still be a hard just out for the Washington Wizards in this case, going up against the Pacers team that's just shot. They lose bad at home to a team that has been significantly devalued after the Kevin Durant trade until, of course, everything's back to normal. And you want me to expect the Indiana Pacers, granted, Tyrese Halliburton is back. It hasn't made that big of a difference, has it not? It really has not made that big of a difference at all. Indiana is plummeting right now. They just lost their third straight, and they're going to turn it around against Washington. Washington hasn't found that groove yet when they were winning those games, that 6-game winning streak. But I'm not worried here about Washington in the sense the time off versus the back-to-back for Indiana. No. We'll take the Wizards on the spread. It's a lean here at home. But again, this is so much about fading an Indiana team that has to be ultimately gassed right now. And I don't think that they just snap out of this shit. I don't know what's going on as far as where they were, but that Halliburton injury, they just haven't been the same. We moved to Charlotte. I wanted to jump ahead to this one. I saw the Nuggets in town. Yes, let me get to this game here. Charlotte also on the second leg of a back-to-back. I don't know if it really matters here. They just get absolutely smoked in Boston, as you can imagine. That's pretty much the nature of going up against most teams for the Charlotte Hornets. Denver's in town. Great. I think this is an overplay. I don't want to bog you down with paralysis by analysis with the Charlotte Hornets. The Denver Nuggets, they're not great on the road. As we know, that's been their weakness, if you will. Amazing at home, but just average at best on the road. It doesn't mean that they fall apart. I think defensively, this is where you're going to see some vulnerability. That's where I'd really like to target in this game. Charlotte's got guys that can score. They're just struggling in mass, I think, to put together a game here. And they come off a rough one. Absolutely. Against Boston on the road, it would be like going up against Denver on the road. That is not easy at all. So I get this concern that maybe the Charlotte Hornets, second leg in the back-to-back, they didn't really do much. They couldn't do much. Boston held them. I mean, I don't even know if they cracked 70. I have to go back and check. I think they barely cracked 70 at the end of the third quarter. They're not just going to bounce back against a team like Boston or Denver at Denver, but at home, this could be 130 to 120. This could be 130 to 115. We're going over. We're going over in a total. That should be a reasonable number. I would think low 230s for us to attack, especially after that horrific performance by Charlotte. So we go over Charlotte as our lean here. And again, you let us know when that total's up, that total moves. The comment section is open for days. You can say whatever the hell you want. That's fine. You're not going to hurt my feelings. As long as YouTube lets it go, I'm fine with it. Just pile it on. This guy's ugly. He sucks. Again, you don't like me, go check that Gatorade video out that we did on the Odd Shopper channel. My wife is all of you. That's all I'm going to say. My wife is all of you in that video. You can take it from there. You're welcome, by the way. You're welcome. I do that for you. Just so you know, I do that for you. Let's move to this Hawks game. Nothing yet jumping out as far as a lock is concerned, which is fine. We don't force these things. The San Antonio Spurs are in town. Spurs getting 10.5 last we checked. Spurs in a tight one, mind you. Friday night, first leg of the back-to-back. Spurs all jammed up in this game with the Detroit Pistons. Pop has them out there trying. It's amazing, right? Like trying. I don't think you're going to get anything different, anything new against Atlanta, despite the pacing that's allowed by the Hawks. This is actually going to be a fade, I think, the traditional thinking type play. That's why we lean under here. But that is a heavy spread at 10.5. I don't think San Antonio is able to keep up. Backdoor, bench players, blowout, things like that. It's too volatile, I think, to lay the 10.5. What I'd rather do here is base off something with the total and think that a lot of people are going to look at San Antonio and say, all right, well, they're a bunch of shit team out there. You know, they can't really do a lot, but they're going up against a team with faster pacing. They're going up against a team that, from at least the backcourt standpoint, is attackable on the defensive end of the floor. This game should go over. And I understand the initial thinking there, but I don't trust the Spurs to score here, even though there are opportunities to take advantage of. They're just not a good basketball team. And the Hawks, look, you're at home, and I get it, and covering this spread doesn't necessarily mean, for me at least, that you're blowing the shit out of the San Antonio Spurs. And even if you do, 120 to 80, 120 to 83, something like that. You want to give me the pacing, the scoring, the speed of the Hawks, that's fine. Versus at least the Spurs, I'm not buying it. I think this game is slower, and I think this game is under, and I think the Hawks, if they have any moments, which they will, in which they can't knock down shots, the Spurs aren't going to pick up the slack from a total standpoint. We lean under here with the Atlanta Hawks. Big, big spread. All right. You see this? Now, this is a couple of years old. This is 2017. This is signed by Brandon Graham. This is an official Brandon Graham signed Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl winning mini helmet. Came from 2017. I got a chance now for you to win Travis Kelce, A.J. Brown, or Devontae Smith. Something similar to this. A mini helmet courtesy of Breaks of God, who are also brought to you by here. So come celebrate the Super Bowl with a free autographed Kelce, A.J. Brown, or Devontae Smith. That's Travis Kelce. I don't want you out there thinking like, hey, man, he said Kelce. All I got was Jason Kelce. You're going to get Travis Kelce. Trust me. Although Jason Kelce wouldn't be a bad one by any means. He'd probably give you a message on this. All you need to do is click the link in the description below. It's easy. It's going to tell you how to enter the giveaway. 3 winners will be selected during a live box break on Instagram. This on Super Bowl Sunday. Breaks of God, you know, the latest sports card collecting trend. It's caught fire. It's how all sports card collectors now of all ages, they're building this high-value card collection without having any huge investments or major risks. Just make sure to keep up with all the latest box breaks, card trends, everything you see. Follow them on Instagram at Breaks of God. You have a chance of winning one of these. Travis Kelce, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Not bad. Look how cool this thing is. Not bad. Put me in. Go Birds. Now, let's get to one. New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers were locked in a battle. By all intents and purposes, this thing had the feeling of the playoffs, right? You know, you started to see the Sixers pull away a little late in the fourth, but we're good. You know, I think we're good overall to look at the Knicks in a bounce back spot. That's the thing. I think if you look at this game, there's going to be a interesting element here not with the Knicks. I'm not worried about the Knicks bouncing back and dealing. It's Utah who's also on the second leg of the back-to-back. It's Utah who was in Toronto that just didn't look like they were able to do much. It's like, no Jordan Clarkson, so let's keep an eye on that here. And that's why I think that there is an opportunity. I don't know. I don't think he's going to play. We'll see. But I'll take the Knicks anyway. Beyond that, before we get to the actual play, it looks as if until things are fine, like until things are back to normal with this Jazz team, which could be tonight, mind you. I don't necessarily trust that. Lauri Markkanen has to score 30, especially with no Jordan Clarkson, just for this team to stay in a game. Just for them to stay in it. So, man, I think you look at this game as a whole. The Knicks are clearly the better basketball team. The Knicks suffer just a close one, and that's more of what you saw in the first leg versus Utah, who's just out of a basketball game against an equally bad team. So I don't know the Knicks have a better chance to bounce back. The Knicks, especially in this scenario where they return home, this is not a road trip by any means to come from Philly to New York, which is even bigger for them. Jazz still on this road trip here. I don't need Utah in my life. I don't in this game. I don't with this spread. The Knicks are lock mode for me. Scoring is there. Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson. You get a little bit from R.J. Barrett. Defensively, that's there. I know we've had a lot of fun at the Knicks' expense. Chris Caron's looking at this video like, don't you dare try and turn now. You've said some things that are you can't apologize for. I get that. But in this case, I want the Knicks on a lock. I like the Knicks here better than most teams in this scenario on Saturday, especially because their second leg of the back-to-back is mitigated by Utah. And that's a great angle for me, at least, to approach. So we lock up the Knicks. First lock of the night, but we lock up the Knicks at home. Let's keep this thing moving. From the Knicks to the Cavs. Cavs laying 5 last we checked. Here's a chance. It's dipping a little bit, maybe 4.5. That's fine. It's going to work in your favor. Donovan Mitchell, we all anticipate everything normal for Cleveland. The thing you have to look about here for Chicago is just, are they going to score? Bulls were on a nice little clip, scoring some points, and then what happened? They turned it back into the Chicago Bulls. They drop a couple of games, and you're just like, what's going on here? Tough to really count on Chicago to do much. There's a pretty significant gap. 11 games in the win column coming into this. And Cleveland, by the way, even on the road, they've been able to put together some impressive wins. The body of work over the last 10 games just is dominated by what the Cleveland Cavaliers have done, even without Donovan Mitchell at times, versus the Chicago Bulls, who are just up and down. They define variance right now. They win, they lose, they score, they don't. It's too difficult to trust. Cleveland is still really good at home, right? We saw what they were able to do at the start of the season, this fantastic run. They're 23-6 overall heading into this game tonight. I think you've got a really good opportunity. Anything under 6 here would be a slam for me. Anything under 6. I'm not locking it up quite yet because this line is moving against me and I want to wait. But for the purposes of what we're doing here on the video, we're going to lean. It's a heavy lean. It's as heavy as you can get. Down to 3, I see. Holy shit. That can't be right. This thing's dipping. That's fine. You want to wait? That's fine. I have no problem with this by any means. You know, the second leg of the back-to-back for Cleveland, they're in New Orleans. That's fine. No Mitchell's back. You now have one of the best home teams who has played really well, and all you have is this late game in New Orleans. I'm not worried about that. I'm not focused on that. I wouldn't take the good or the bad from that. I think this is a completely separate matchup, and that's why Chicago is the play, or that's why Cleveland is the play against Chicago, and we lean 4.5, 5, depending on where it is. All right, 2 more games to go, but let me tell you about the Discord real quick. I have a channel here in this Discord. There's a link below, and I'd like you to join. I'm going to give you half off the first week. Half off. You can come in, you can dabble, you can do what you want. I'm sure if you're familiar with this video, you know about Lindquist. He's in there as well. Raza, Ehrenberg, Lofty. We have a bunch of guys. Isaiah from the written side is on there. Gajeski. We have a bunch of people that are active. Okay. Narco Cop MMA. Big addition to the Discord. You get half off your first week and you get to hang with all of us. We're doing this on the Discord. I mean, we are crushing it. 7-2 in February, all plus money bets on the DraftKings early win token. That's just one small thing. And you have a bunch of us in there just live sweating this. So it's really fun. We're making money. It's profitable. This is what we want to do here with you. That's why we're giving you the first week half off. Click that link below. It's super easy to sign up. You'll see if you have any problems, you can tweet me at Shander Show. But we have a lot of people popping in and having fun. And as you can see, we are winning tickets. It's nice to have a sweat with a bunch of people. That's exactly what we're doing. Not bad. Not bad. All right, let's keep it moving here. 2 more games to go. Not a ton to get out with this Warriors game, except we're just going to go under here. And I'll tell you the lean, the lock, the feel, and all in a second, but I don't want to spoil anything. Golden State, interesting spot now. We still know without Steph how this team kind of maneuvers. They haven't figured anything out by any means. And at home, they are much better. They are the juggernaut, but that's with Steph. They're giving up some points here. On the season as a whole, they're giving up points. It hasn't been a typical Golden State season or year that we're used to. I get that. In this case, coming to town here in a pretty tough matchup where the Warriors, and this is where I think the Warriors have the advantage, clearly have the advantage. You're talking prime time, Saturday night, 8:30 on ABC. The prime time game before the Super Bowl, right? Because you own Saturday night before anything NFL takes over. We expect LeBron. We expect, some guys who are out. Anthony Davis with the foot injury. I don't know right now. You are going to get D'Angelo Russell. You're going to get Malik Beasley. So what? I don't know what these guys are going to do. I don't know how long they're going to be out there. I'm not going to place a wager on D'Angelo Russell's debut. Not with this god-awful basketball team. I think they struggle. I think they struggle to score. I think Golden State struggles to score. I don't think you're going to get a one-sided domination, but at the same time, this is not a back-and-forth slugfest. This is going to be a struggle to get buckets for the most part. New faces in new places, guys playing hurt, guys not on the floor entirely. That doesn't add up to an over for me. I am more than comfortable right here locking in the under for the Golden State Warriors. You better believe it. Last one here for you. Made you wait for this one. I even hit you with the Discord and DraftKings, all that. I made you wait for this one. We're just going to lean. We're just going to lean a little bit, but he's playing. He's playing. I have no doubt. I heard the GM on Sirius earlier say on the NBA channel that Luka's going to play before the weekend's over. Well, they had a first leg of the back-to-back on Friday night. Now they have the second leg of the back-to-back on Saturday. I don't think they're playing back-to-back-to-back. It's the same team against Sacramento. I don't give a shit what happened Friday night. Doesn't matter at all. It wouldn't matter if they won by 30 or lost by 30. The play here, this game is fascinating. The game of basketball is unlike anything else where if you're this good, look, there's no knock on D'Angelo Russell, but he ain't Kyrie and he ain't Luka. If you're this good, you can step in, you can play, you know the game. Like certain strategies, certain sets, things that you do, out of bounds plays, that shit is easy to pick up when you're gifted. And it's not so much like, hey, I need to know the playbook. It's just stay the fuck out of my way. And somebody's going to set you up. And when you get set up, you do whatever the hell you want with a basketball. That's what Kyrie needs to tell Luka, and that's what Luka needs to tell Kyrie. And we're good with the final play leaning the Mavericks spread. I can't wait to see this. I mean, it's going to be an amazing aspect of theater, good or bad. And I'm here for it, just like you're here for it. All right. We appreciate you big time. Thumbs up, subscribe. I'm at Shander Show on Twitter if you'd like to say hi. Leans, locks, we do it 7 days a week. Lindy's got you Monday through Friday. I have you Saturday and Sunday. DraftKings, Discord. There are links below for you. We'll see you Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday.